In this short video, I'm going to talk about two effective learning strategies, retrieval practice and the keyword mnemonic. The idea of a keyword is central to all the more complex mnemonic strategies. At its simplest, the idea reflects the fact that we remember new information by attaching it to information we already knew well. But not all information can be meaningfully connected to your existing information, and this is where the keyword comes in. The keyword is an intermediary that provides artificial meaning. For example, if you want to remember that the Spanish word carta means letter, you select an English word that sounds as close to carta as you can get, and you make a mental picture that links that word to the English meaning, thus a letter in a cart. Results from using the keyword method have been quite dramatic. For example, in a classic study from the researchers that developed this strategy, Atkinson and Raw, 1975, over a third of the 120 words were remembered more than 80% of the time in the keyword condition, compared to only one item in the control condition, Glatz for eye, a mnemonic link so obvious I'm sure most of the control participants used it. Moreover, only 7 words were remembered less than half the time in the keyword condition, compared to 70 in the control condition. Overall, the keyword group recalled 72% of the words when they were tested on the day following the 3 study days, 40 words were studied each day, compared to 46% by the control group. When they were, without warning, tested again 6 weeks later, the keyword group remembered 43% compared to the control group's 28%. So results from using the keyword mnemonic have been impressive. However, more recently, a study compared the keyword mnemonic with retrieval practice. Retrieval practice, as its name suggests, is a simple strategy that involves retrieving the target information one or more times prior to testing. It is not the same as repetition or rehearsal. The idea is not to simply repeat the correct information, but to try and retrieve it. This is the sort of strategy you're using when you use flashcards. After finding that college students learned German words equally well whether they used the keyword mnemonic or retrieval practice, and both methods were significantly better than learning using rote repetition, the researchers tested 4 different strategies on high school pupils. Rather than breaking the students into 4 groups, they divided the words to be learned into 4 groups, so that groups of words were presented in 4 different ways. In the first section of the instruction booklet, each English word with its German translation was presented with an elaborating sentence. For example, the German for sharp is scharf. Scharf also means hot, as in spicy. The German for lighthouse is Leuchtturm. Leuchtturm consists of the 2 words for shine and tower. This is the elaboration strategy. In the next section, retrieval practice, the English and German words were read out when first presented, and on the following pages the students were required to retrieve the German word on seeing the English word. There were filler pages in between each retrieval attempt on the expanding schedule of 1, 3, 5, 7. That is, 1 intervening filler item before the first attempt, 3 items before the second attempt, and so on. In the third, keyword section, the English and German words were presented with a description of a suggested image. For example, the German for sharp is scharf. Imagine cutting a German flag with sharp scissors. In the last section, a strategy combining both the keyword and retrieval practice was employed. The students were tested immediately, again a week later. There were 2 tests, recalling the English meaning on seeing the German words, and giving the German words when presented with the English meaning. In all conditions, words presented using the elaboration method were significantly less likely to be remembered. The other 3 methods produced similar results on the immediate test, but after a week the words learned by the combined method were significantly better remembered than those learned by the others. Words learned by the retrieval practice strategy were slightly better remembered than those learned by the keyword method, but not to a significant degree. However, on the harder task, remembering the German, retrieval practice was significantly better than the keyword mnemonic. There are 2 aspects of the retrieval practice strategy, as it was used here, that should be noted. One is the basic principle that retrieval is always better than rehearsal, because retrieval is the task you should be practicing for, and because rehearsal gives you no feedback as to how well you have learned, and retrieval does. That is why testing is so valuable, more valuable as a learning tool than as an assessment tool. Testing teaches. Even pre-testing, before the student even knows the information to be learned, improves learning. The second aspect is that the retrieval occurred on a distributed schedule. This is a general and fundamental rule. Spacing any sort of practice is more effective than doing it all in one go, and the best spacing occurs at increasingly distant intervals. There's more about this on my website. Moreover, it has recently been demonstrated that interleaving practice, as has occurred here, with different items being interspersed between repetitions, or as occurs when a math lesson is followed by practice problems relating to many earlier lessons, adds its own additional benefits. I made this presentation to augment an article in my recent newsletter, which you can read on my website, www.mempowered.com. You can find a great deal more articles and reports on many aspects of memory and learning at mempowered.com.